Hello, welcome to a very curious place. I am trying to get as much done as I can while I'm actually, I don't know, slightly have a working brain, slightly, and I do mean very slightly, very slightly. Just did a review, was talking about the fact that I love stuff that's from overseas. Now this video is about British comedies and sci-fis. Now a lot of people, you know, aren't that into the British television stuff or British movies, stuff like that. I will say right now, I'm more into British television than I am movies, but I find a lot of things about Britain just interesting. Just like I didn't know that apparently people over in Britain say that people in America don't know what an egg cup is. I'm just like, how can you not know what an egg cup is? And then I'm like, well, you know all sorts of useless trivia, and wasted knowledge, so you're probably not the best person to ask. Because yes, I do know what an egg cup is. But when it comes to like BBC comedies and such, you have things like Red Dwarf, which if you've never watched it, really kind of great comedy sci-fi. Awesome, I love it. Main character's name is Lister, and he's kind of this, you know, guess you would say just kind of like a slacker that, you know, he got this job and he just wanted to kind of coast by, you know, do his work and not have to like do a whole bunch of extra, you know, just kind of do what he had to do. And it takes him through, you know, the different changes throughout time after there's like this horrible, you know, accident on the ship he's on, and how it changes everything, and the years as they pass and how everyone changes and so on and so forth. I love saying so on and so forth, don't I? But anyway, so yeah, it takes you through all that. So, and there are, God, there are a lot of seasons of Red Dwarf. I mean, so many seasons of Red Dwarf. So many that I can't tell you right off the top of my head because I know I haven't watched all of them. But there are so many seasons of Red Dwarf. I mean, like, oh God. But, so yeah, there's plenty to watch there. The next one is actually an old one. Well, Red Dwarf's kind of old too, but yet at the same time, not as old as Are You Being Served? Are You Being Served is a British comedy, a little bit risque, especially for the time, about a group of people working in a shop, you know, working in a big department store, and their day-to-day business, you know, dealings while working in this shop. You know, there were even some movies, where, you know, they went on vacation as a group, you know, and it went through, I know there were enough seasons in Are You Being Served that it actually hit double digits. And it's funny, it's a little raunchy, a little risque, occasionally you get a little slapstick humor, but you know, it's just funny as all get out. And then after that one, they actually did put out a second series that did not do very well. I think there was like one season of it, and it was like 2 discs. I know this because I've watched all those, but trying to remember what it was called. But anyway, I'll have to look it up and write it down below. It was basically the group after they retired, and the store owner, he passed away, and they inherited this old inn out in the middle of the country, and that was their retirement because they couldn't really sell it and get anything for it, so they just had to go out there and live, you know, and they were running the inn, and it was talking about their day-to-day life of running this inn, and you know, the upsides and the downsides of trying to learn how to take care of, you know, chickens and, you know, cows and different farm animals, and how to, you know, how to actually run this business, you know. And, you know, so it takes you out there with them to the country to watch them kind of stumble along. But it is the same kind of humor. It's like slapstick. It's a little bit risque sometimes. But it's just hilarious. And it's them as older retired people, you know. They're not young like they used to be. And, you know, and one of the main jokes going through this entire series is about Mrs. Slocum's pussy. Now, I'm talking about a cat. Talking about a cat. Don't come at me. Okay, so yeah. That's the main joke, is talking about her cat. So, yeah. But it's hilarious. It really, really is. It's hilarious. And that's the constant joke that goes through this entire series, you know, all the time. Is just that. So, it is fun. That and Mr. Humphries. Mr. Humphries is flamboyant. Let's put it like that. And it's very sad because the man who actually played Mr. Humphries has passed since then. Since I watched that, it's been a few years now. Very hilarious actors. Moving on to the next one, you have the Vicar of Dibley. Now, this has a little bit more well-known actress in the lead. Her name is Dawn French, and she's actually more well-known in British circles. Puts out a lot of funny comedies, and she plays a female vicar in this tiny little town that has never had a female vicar. They had, and they didn't particularly want a female vicar. And it goes through talking, showing you like the lives of these people, and you know, how they deal with things. And her best friend in the show is named Alice Tinker, and Alice is unique. She's unique. That's a special way. That's a polite way. She's unique. So yeah, she is unique. Funny. It just takes you through the day-to-day lives. There's a lot of religion talk in it. If you have an issue with religion, you might not want to watch this one. Some people do, some people don't. I don't particularly have issues with it. I think it's hilarious. Now, some of the more well-known ones would be something like Doctor Who. Doctor Who has been around forever. I mean, seriously, forever. Most people did not start watching it until it started doing the remakes. A lot of the younger ones started watching it again when it started doing the remakes. And then it was like, now they're watching it in the remakes, and they're just like, oh, it's so great and all this stuff. And they don't realize that, you know, yeah, it's always been great. It's been around for a very long time, you know. That's not the road I want. But yeah, they don't realize that's been around for a very long time. We've been there, done that, you know. It used to be filmed in black and white. You know, so I don't really think I have to tell people much about Doctor Who, but I'll just kind of like give you a brief synopsis. It's about an alien. He's an alien, let's be honest. He travels around in what he calls a TARDIS. It's a time and relative dimensions in space. And basically, the going joke on that is, it's bigger on the inside. So, don't know what... Oh, yeah, there it is. I knew it was around here somewhere. But yeah, so he travels around, and he tries to fix the things that go wrong to keep the human, so he can keep the human race alive, and you know, keep everybody safe, and that's his goal. And he always has the different companions, and they change. And the sad thing is that, you know, he's over 900 years old, and his companions always leave him, and then he's alone again, and so on and so forth. And the most recent ones have been very popular. Now, they just did something that, I'll be honest, I'm not real thrilled with as a Whovian. They made the new Doctor Who, the new incarnation of Doctor Who, they made him female. So they made the new Doctor Who a female, and I'm just like, first off, I don't care for the actress that they got to do it. There's something about that actress. I've never really liked her in anything. And this is not an exception. It's to the point now where I'm just like, you know what? I'll skip this season. I will skip every season that she's in it, and hopefully they'll go ahead and just kill her off after one season. But it's not working for me. I'm like, there are so many people they could have chosen. Even if they just were gonna make it a woman, there are other women they could have chosen. I mean, there are so many women in Britain that are fantastic actresses. Why couldn't you have picked a really good one? You know, I mean, seriously. I mean, last time I checked, Helen Bonham Carter is from Britain. She would have rocked Doctor Who. Rocked Doctor Who. I'm seriously, I would have loved her in that. I love her in anything. But this actress, I don't care for her. The actor before that that was the incarnation the last time, I love him in other stuff. He was okay as Doctor Who. I didn't love him as Doctor Who. Honest to God, you know, it's one of those things where I liked him, but he wasn't my favorite, and I was like, and they let him go on kind of long, and I was just like, don't think they should have let him go on as long as they did. That's a very controversial opinion, because you're not even though they say you're supposed to be allowed to have your opinion, they don't really mean that. They do not mean that. It's like complete and utter bullshit. But anyway, it is. You're supposed to agree with what everybody else says, and you know what? I don't do that. So, but yeah. So Doctor Who, Torchwood, which was a spin-off of Doctor Who, awesome show. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get in here. I may have gotten here too late. So yeah, but it is actually a very great show. And where am I parking? Okay, you know what, I'm gonna park here. But it's a very great show. Torchwood is a great spin-off. You gotta just you have to love John Barrowman in anything he does. And I think I'm going to leave it at that, because first off, I've got to go do this. And second off, you know what? I think Torchwood and Doctor Who are good places to leave it off at, because they're awesome. So, as always, much love from Monty in a very curious place. Stay strange, sweeties. Bye.